Hi, welcome to the super simple slideshow customization tutorial. In this video, I'm going to do a quick overview of the project and then show you how to replace your text, replace your images. You can either use videos or photos, either one. And also going to show you how to change the colors of our text blocks. We have some really simple color controls set up. And I'll also show you how to make the placeholders stay on a little bit longer. They last about roughly 2 to 3 seconds in the preview, and I'll show you how to actually make them stay on a little bit longer before they transition to the next placeholder. So first we'll start with our render comp. And as you can see, this is the 1080 version. In your download folder, there is a 4K version if you need to make something that big. And if we look in our timeline, you can see that all of our scenes are laid out here in order. And we have 8 text scenes here, and these can actually be moved around. And if we select our first layer, it's called Controls, and go to our Effects Controls panel, you'll see we have a color control, and this is for our transition. You can change the color with that color control. You can change the opacity, so if you wanted it to be more of a solid color, you can do that, or if you wanted it to be really faint, or if you didn't want it at all, you can just select 0 on that slider. And we also have a checkbox here for scene numbers. If you don't want to see that, you can just uncheck that box and those will go away. So the last thing we have at the end of our timeline is the closing logo scene, and I'll show you how to replace your logo and change your text. So that's basically the video in a nutshell. So if we go back to our project panel and go to the Replace Images Here folder, twirl that down, you'll see all of our placeholder compositions. So if we double click to open the Replace Image Here 01 comp, open that up, you'll see there's already a layer here, and this is our animation layer. This actually is an adjustment layer that has a transform effect, and it's sort of creating this very subtle zooming in animation. So what you're going to do is go to File, Import, File, and then select your image and click Open. Then you're going to drag this file into your timeline, and you're going to make sure that that layer is underneath the animation layer. And this is a little bit too big, so we're going to twirl this open, go to our transform properties, and scale this down. Another easy way to scale this would be to right click on your photo layer, go to transform, and we want to fit to comp width. So this will be exactly the width of this composition window. There we go. And if we go back to our render comp, you'll see that our image is there. And you would just repeat that process for importing your images, and then going to our Replace Images Here folder, and then you want to open all of these placeholder comps and then drag and drop your image or your video into that composition. So the next thing we're going to do is change the text. So if we go to our Replace Text Here layer in our render comp, you can double click to open it directly from this timeline, or if you go to your project panel, you can double click that composition. It's in the Replace Text Here folder. So you double click to open that up. And we have 4 text layers. 2 of them are the same, basically the same text layer, but they're matted because they are animating, sort of split in the middle and then moving out. So you'll need to change the text for both layers. What you want to do is just double click on that first text layer and type your text. Then you want to double click on that text layer and then just hit Command or Control C to copy, and then double click on the next text layer and Control V or Command V to paste. Then you want to do the same thing for the bottom line of text. There you go. And in each text scene, we also have some controls. If you go to your Controls panel or Effects Controls panel, You'll see a color picker for our top text layer. You can change your type there. You can change the background color. You can change the bottom text, obviously. And that looks awful. You can change the width of this box, and you can also change the height. So if you had something a little bit bigger, you can do that as well. And you can change the background opacity. And this is, you might want to adjust this depending on what you have behind it. So there you go, and you have those same controls on each of the text placeholders. So if you go back to our project panel, let's go to the Replace Logo Here folder, twirl that down, and double click to open the Replace Logo Here composition. And we have a dummy placeholder text. You can actually double click and start typing your text. If you didn't have a logo, just wanted to put some text there, you can do that. Or you can import your logo, and you can go to File, Import, File. Or another way to import is to just click twice inside an empty space in the project panel. If you just tap twice there, you can open up our Import File window. And we'll select our logo and click Open. And click OK. And then we just drag this into either the timeline or the comp viewer. Turn this off. And if we go back to our render comp, you'll see that the logo has been replaced. And if we double click to open this closing logo scene, we're just going to double click on that layer and it'll open up our comp. We have some color controls in here as well. And this is for the transition. When the logo is transitioning in, you can change those colors also to whatever you like. Something colorful. And then you can also click on the Replace Closing Text Here layer, and that is a composition where you can change your text. And you'll just do the same thing you did in our other text compositions. You'll just double click on your text layer. And double click on that. Control C, Control V. And if you see your text cut off at the bottom here, you can just select these layers, the blue layers are the top matte. If you hold on Command or Control and select the other top matte, hit P on your keyboard to bring it the position, and you want to scrub on the Y position here. You can bring that down. And you'll have the same color pickers and background opacity here as well, as including your width and your height for the box. There you go. And you can also move this pre-comp around as well. Okay, so if we go back to our render comp, as promised, I will show you how to make these placeholders last a little longer than just their 2 to 3 seconds. So if you select our last layer, which is scene 01, and then we're going to scroll up and hold down Shift while you click on scene 60. So that's all of our placeholders. We're going to put our current time indicator at 0. And then you're going to hit the left bracket key on your keyboard. Okay, so this is going to put all of our placeholders starting at the same time. And we're going to grab them and just extend them a little bit. So now you can right click inside this timeline. You can just right click and go to Keyframe Assistant, Sequence Layers. We're going to make sure this overlap box is checked. For the duration for our overlap, we're going to make it 2 seconds. And then you're going to click OK. And you'll see, oh my God, what happened? If you scroll down, you'll see that our layers have been sequenced in the timeline all by themselves. And let's see if we can take a look here. If we scrub through, you'll see that's on camera for a longer, and then there's our next transition. And we'll scroll down so you can have a good look at these layers. So now they are spread out even more in the timeline. So that's pretty much it. I want to thank you for watching this tutorial. And if you ever have any questions, you can always send me an email, marissa@fluxvfx.com. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Thanks.